go yard.
Hello and welcome back to the CFCTALK podcast. Alex, sorry, but we're not on StreamYard, so I can't show you dance at backstage. But as always, joined by Alex, but we've got a guest with us, a fellow Chelsea fan and an experienced player. We've just had a bit of a beforehand, and we're going to get some of his insights. I think he's already scored 103 this game week, as well as tips for all of you who are starting off this first season of your second, and we just need a few tips as well. But just before we get into the topics of the podcast, as well as all the discussion, a great weekend, and I must say before I say this, but when I get a Chelsea kit or any other football kit, as a matter of 20% off and free shipping in the UK, use the link below in the description or on our social media. Use the code BALLER for 20% off. What a deal that is. Alex, getting one soon?
Probably yes. I think. Yeah, I'll probably get that once the yellow. If I'm going to get any, it'll probably be the Chelsea yellow away kit. I don't have any yellow Chelsea kits so far. So the only ones I really got are blue ones, and so yeah, really need a yellow one in my collection. So if I'm going for one.
Yeah, Fred.
And some wall mounts as well, so I can match your backgrounds.
I've only got one, but going to someone who's got a lot on this background. Fred, how are you doing? How is it? Chelsea winning the Super Cup and then the Crystal Palace game.
Yeah, I've got too many shirts, to be honest, but yeah, it's all good. It's been a great week for us Chelsea fans, and yeah, let's enjoy it while it lasts. But it might last long because we look really good. So yeah, let's just enjoy.
We say that with a lot of optimism and a lot of confidence, but all of us deep down know that Arsenal are going to beat Barcelona this Sunday. Way ahead, but before we get into that, a big win against Crystal Palace. Alonso, Pulisic, and an unexpected scorer, Chalobah, on the score sheet. A screamer from Alonso, actually. I was watching the highlights. Incredible. And then the opening day, it's always dramatic. Arsenal losing to Brentford. I don't think the shock, but the shock that was there was losing to Spurs after some goal. It wasn't deflected, actually. I just found out right now because when I was watching it was deflected. And then at the end, we'll have a discussion with Fred about FPL and get his thoughts and tips on that as well. Crystal Palace, initial thoughts, Fred. I know we've had a pretty good preseason. We've played top tier teams. We haven't just played teams in the second division or throughout Europe, but we've played Tottenham and Arsenal. I know I'm giving them a lot of right now.
Yeah, we played some good teams in preseason, and we didn't score that many goals, so it was nice to get 3 goals, and yeah, it was very solid. We won pretty easily. Crystal Palace, they are all right, but it's a team we really should win against, and I'm very happy with the way we played.
Alex, your thoughts on your initial thoughts?
I mean, to add on to the friendly whole thing, but yeah, with great performances against Tottenham and Arsenal. But you guys see today we beat Weymouth, who are a National League team, Conference League team, 13-0, with an 11 that had Danny Drinkwater in it.
Did he score any? Or you don't know that?
I want to know. I think they've.
Contrary, I will say that we had Thiago Silva, Ben Chilwell, and bossing that back four as if. Yeah, it was nice to see Drinkwater play. I mean, that's probably the only team he can get into at Chelsea, so we'll give him that chance. let's dive straight into the game. Alonso with that free kick. I think we've seen him score screamers in the FA Cup against the most prominent one that I remember is the FA Cup one against Tottenham. I think it was at Wembley as well.
That was in the Prem.
And sorry,
That was in the Prem. It
oh,
was
in
in
the
the
Premier
Prem
League, yeah,
when Spurs moved,
Yeah, it was,
but
yeah.
right,
yeah, it was just because they were in Wembley because temporarily.
yeah.
But yeah,
So
that's definitely the most iconic one.
yeah, and this was probably even better. It was a longer range, and he had a weirder, you could say, straight top corner. The goalkeeper had no chance. The wall had no chance, and Chelsea 1-0. Um, is he trying to cement his place into the team now? That's the question, because Ben Chilwell. I mean, he hasn't had fair enough. Ben Chilwell hasn't had a lot of preseason. But is this Alonso coming back into the first team and being first choice now in a back five that he's used to playing in, like he did under Antonio Conte?
Not for me. Not for me. I still think Chilwell is a better player. He can defend better. Maybe Alonso is better at getting at the end of crosses and stuff like that, and plus the free kicks. But overall, I definitely prefer Chilwell.
Yeah, absolutely the same as well. It's for me as well because yeah, it's not gonna lie. Palace, yes, amazing performance from us, particularly offensively, but and maybe it's down to the system in general. But Palace did offered barely anything in attack. So yes, Alonso he's looked like I wouldn't say the word solid, but some of his first touches have been have been ridiculous, and he's been playing just decent, I guess, in attack recently. So yeah, it makes sense to use him. We don't really have any other left backs, and he's playing well. It's not to the extent where we're thinking about Chilwell's future or anything like this. No way. It's yeah, one like in
So
For
I'm
Arsenal,
getting ahead of
I'm pretty
myself right
sure
now.
Chilwell's coming in. Yeah, just a little, but it's he always Marcus Alonso always he does this 3 times a season where he'll come back for like a couple of games, score a free kick, score a ridiculous volley, and then he'll go back to be Marcus Alonso. So I think history will repeat itself on that one.
I think an important point you kind of mentioned there, Alex, was how Crystal Palace were not very attacking, and I want to kind of jump on that before we go into Pulisic or Chalobah. Not a lot of teams, even last season, had a lot of chances against Chelsea since Tuchel's come in. I mean, we remember last season towards the end when we used to even the Real Madrid game and the Porto game when we were like, you know what, the opposition didn't even have a chance. They had one or two shots on goal, both were off target. That's kind of the system Tuchel's created. Is that why, Fred, it's easier for Tuchel to get away with one or two goal wins, and Chelsea fans actually being happy with that at the end of the day because it gets us the 3 points that are needed?
Yeah, definitely. The main thing is to just get the 3 points, and it's way easier with the defense we got at the moment. With Lampard, we really need to score like maybe 3 to win the games, but now with Tuchel, it's enough with maybe 1, 2. And one thing I would like to speak about in this game is that we still shut down Wilfried Zaha. I mean, Palace might not be a great team, but Zaha is a player that can cause problems for any team, and we barely saw him in this game, so it was great work from the defense there.
Like we've come a long way since remember in the lockdown game against Palace where it was I think was it 3-3 or or maybe my memory is maybe that was a different one, but I think it was really tense towards the end of the game, and basically yes, under Lampard's these games against Palace were I think a lot more difficult, and we've just been able to kind of shut them down, or shut Palace down in recent times. I think we played Tuchel. Sorry, we played Tuchel. We played Villa, not Villa, Palace. Sorry, I'm a wreck. We played Palace under Tuchel. Yeah, the vaccine is just. Sorry, but yeah, we played Palace under Tuchel last season and shut them down as well. I think it was a 4-0 win. So yeah, it's shut them down offensively, and they can't really do anything. So yeah, just nothing more to add on that one. But yeah, it's just a good change.
We're talking about the defense. We're talking about the defense, and I know I feel like the 3 episodes before this, I have just kind of sold Chelsea the idea of keeping Chalobah at the club. I think at one point I should go and change the podcast name to a Chalobah fan account and just start doing that. But it's just been incredible to see him, and I guess it's because he's an academy player. So that goal, that celebration, I know you talked about the team spirit that's at Chelsea right now, and that was between I think Mendy and Kepa. My lights have just gone off. I don't know exactly why.
So you're still with us, Mohammed. It's all right.
So, I mean, incredible is it to see him score.
And his lights gone. Sorry, never mind. That's just an inside joke on the podcast.
That's the ghost.
Never mind. Continue.
The ghost. But Chalobah, just in player. Do we even need any other player? See.
Not necessarily. Yeah, I've been very pleased with Chalobah as well over these 2 games. Then it's only 2 games. I don't think we can put him ahead of the likes of, let's say, Christensen, Thiago Silva, Rudiger. So maybe he can be the 4th or the 5th. Yeah, we got Aspi as well.
Yeah.
Maybe he can be there with Zuma in that role. Yeah, we will see.
But would you not? I know this is getting a bit of an, like, we're getting ahead of the topic that we're discussing. Not give him a star against.
We didn't catch that quite much.
Yeah,
you kind of.
I was just asking if.
Can you repeat that again?
If you would give Chalobah a chance against Arsenal.
If I would give him a yeah, I probably would. I actually wouldn't change around too much. I would bring in Thiago, Rudiger, and then play Chalobah. That's what I would go with. But I would be pleased with anything. I trust our defenders at the moment, all of them. So
who would have thought we would be sitting here saying we trust Christensen, Aspi, Rudiger in the back?
Yeah, a year ago, that would have sounded ridiculous, but it's really improved. So.
Because every time someone says that our defense is amazing, I go back to 2016 when under Conte we had that performance against Barcelona in the Champions League, and all of the Chelsea fans after that were just complaining of how we with this defense, or Christensen and Rudiger in defense, we're never going to win any trophy. And 4 years or 5 years later, these guys are now the first choice defenders, and it's gotten to a point where Chelsea aren't even thinking about signing someone like Koulibaly, who was our target for quite a while.
Yeah. I think the real crazy moment I think is from, I think, especially the West Ham game in lockdown where we lost at the Olympic Stadium, and there were mistakes all over the place from Rudiger and Christensen, and so many fans were calling, or probably including myself, were just calling them to get out of the team. And to go from that to this is just ridiculous, and no one could have predicted it, I don't think. But you were saying, sorry, did you ask another question, or was that?
No, I was just letting you complete your point because you said something and then I interrupted you, but that's good to see. That's Chalobah coming into the team, and I'm sure all 3 of us agree that he's got a bright future ahead, and I'm sure that I don't think Tuchel's going to let him go anywhere, and he's going to be part of that team. Maybe not feature in all the games once we have Thiago Silva and Aspi ready, Chilwell as well, and then we have James ready as well. So it will be interesting to see him play those cup games when required during midweeks, kind of give the rotation that Chelsea want. One position that we're kind of struggling in with options, Kante. He's had a bit of an injury, or I think there was a bit of a scare that's why he didn't play this game. Do we think it's time, we need to look into? I know we said Koundé can play in that role. There were a few discussions of maybe try Chalobah there because he used to play in that position in the academy. And then we've got someone like Reece James who played CDM at Wigan, Wigan, and then I think who was it? I can't remember who another player was, who also had some experience.
There's Loftus Cheek. Oh, CDM there. I can't remember.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
So, what your thoughts on that?
Oh, these are all pretty. Oh, is it? Are you still here?
He's. Continue. All right, we'll continue.
Yeah.
Continue.
All these options are pretty unproven, especially if we compare to Kante, who's probably the best in the world in his position. So
Exactly.
I don't know if it's a good thing to put maybe Reece in centre mid or and Chalobah. I'm not so sure. I would rather go for a new signing. Maybe not Rice because he's so expensive for that kind of role, but someone else. Maybe the Monaco guy, Chouameni. I haven't seen him play, to be honest, so I can't really comment, but maybe him.
Yeah, honestly, it's like we talk about when he was talking about the James at CDM or these other guys. It's the kind of thing you kind of expect from us in when we're down to 2-5 to West Brom. That's the kind of we go in the ultra attacking formation and put James at CDM. But yeah, it's I totally agree with you though. It's a little worrying when you see. I mean, the Koundé links kind of have come of. I haven't really heard anything much in the past week or two, but before Lukaku or the Lukaku links came up, it was all about him. So we haven't really seen any or heard anything about any central midfielder coming in, or you just know that Tuchel's Rice is or I think what Rice was. I can't remember how concrete this was, but it's just seemed like lots of people tweeting out saying that Tuchel's first choice is Rice. But like you said, he's 90 million on a guy who we want in to kind of. I don't know. It's a tricky one. He's very divisive, but yeah, as like a backup or someone to fill or plug the hole in of that fourth central midfield spot. Yeah, I'd say I'd go for it, like you said, Chouameni, but like you, I haven't watched him at all. I just like his name, and from what people say about him, sounds like a decent-ish option.
Yeah, Fabry has been talking very good about him. So.
Yeah, we trust him, so yeah. We'll just
yeah.
Mohammad, what do you think on the whole midfield thing? Do we go for the ultra attacking? Try fill other or the FIFA. Try put anyone who may fit there, or do we buy someone who we haven't watched?
No, I think honestly, I think replacing Kante is not an easy task. As Tuchel said, as many managers have said in the past, he plays as if he's two players. So it's not easy to fill up his shoes, and his presence when he's not on the pitch is fully noticeable. That you can see teams go into that area that he's usually in. I just believe I think Koundé isn't the right option for Chelsea. I think if it is going to be someone, it's got to be Rice next season. And I just don't see Koundé working out for Chelsea. I think he's too young at the moment. Kante doesn't need to be replaced because I think Kante's 28, 29 right now. Yes, he's got a few years ahead of him, but we need someone like Declan Rice who can come in, week out, perform. Kante become the backup option. And
we are talking about Koundé in a different position, though. Sorry to interrupt.
I haven't actually I haven't actually seen a lot of Koundé. I'm just going based off Chelsea fans what their thoughts are because I really haven't followed him around, and I didn't even know about him until Chelsea kind of targeted him, and I saw a few highlights and all that situation. So I would say my opinion on this would be that I'm not exactly sure of what to comment on this, because I would be speaking out of just interest or biasism towards Declan Rice, because I prefer him over any kind of defensive midfielder right now. So, yeah, I think Koundé isn't the right option.
Yeah. But if you had all the money in the world, would you get both? Would you get Koundé to replace to have backup right centre back, or not?
But do we really need? I just don't think we need him at all. Like I've been saying this since day one, but we just don't need him. I know Aspie's transitioning into leaving the club soon, but you've got, if Chalobah works out, that's fine. I think have we got a buyback deal on Mark Guehi or not? I'm not exactly sure if we've got a buyback deal on him.
I
don't think we have.
I don't think we have.
100%.
Yeah.
So
speaking of him, it was kind of funny how. Oh, sorry, I just didn't know.
Go for it.
Talk about another time. But it's just funny how, there was a huge uproar for him leaving, but I haven't seen a single person mention him once. Now that Chalobah's kind of stopped, it seems like Chalobah has stolen all the limelight in a way of our new new English centre back who's scored on his debut. Whose first goal was a screamer. We have a new person for that. The first one was Tamori. Gesko he didn't, but yeah, now it's him. So. It's a little bit. I can't remember if he has a buyback. I'm not sure if he does.
I mean, realistically, even after that, yes, we've got two centre backs who could be leaving soon. I mean, Thiago Silva and Nasby. But other than that, we've still got quite a lot of options. Koundé, I think, he's another one of those young players. We've got quite a few that we bought as youngsters. Can't exactly remember for some reason. Malang Sarr, and I think Mubiamba also plays at the back. So those are two young options that we've already got.
Yeah.
So why go for someone who's also young, and whereas you can kind of target someone who's already experienced to help nurture them into great defenders. I mean, we talk about Christensen and Rudiger improving. I'm sure there has to be some sort of input from Thiago Silva, and I would speak for Christensen especially.
What do you think, Fred, on the whole buying a new right centre back? Doesn't have to be Koundé, but I guess he's the one. We're
I'm not so sure on it either. I would just go with the defense we got now. I think it's good enough. So no signings there. Maybe prioritize maybe fourth midfielder instead.
Yeah. So I think we think about this, but then there's. I saw a tweet earlier in the day about all the contract situations, because it seems like Christensen, Rudiger, I can't remember which ones is which, but I think it's Aspie whose contract ends the end of the season, or is it? I can't remember if it's him or if
I think it is Aspie.
It's between him, Christensen, and Rudiger. Yeah, between him, Christensen, and Rudiger.
Rudiger as well.
They all end. They're all their contracts. Yeah, all their contracts end in the next year or two. So it's like, yeah. But I think we're getting bogged down in this. But it's a little bit.
No, but I think we can. Rudiger isn't going. I know there was a bit of a story last season or this summer where people thought Rudiger might be leaving. I don't think he's going to leave. Tuchel's got a great system right now. He's a regular at Chelsea. So who? I can't even speak right now. But who is a team better than Chelsea right now? You play for the European champions, so it doesn't get better than that. So let's leave that debate to there for now and move on to Pulisic. I mean, it wasn't the cleanest of goals, but it is a goal at the end of the day. It's going to give him some sort of confidence. And Alex and I, we were talking about this a bit last podcast about how he hasn't kind of found that form since that Project Restart that we like to call it here. Is it time for him to shine? Is this the time he has to prove himself and get back into the team, or it's going to be too late for him, and he'll be heading out of Chelsea if he doesn't find that form, Fred?
For me, it's not first choice at the moment. Like when Lukaku comes in, I will play Lukaku, Mount, and probably Kai. But Pulisic, his form after the lockdown, or yeah, whatever you called it earlier, that's the best a Chelsea player has played since Hazard left, in my opinion. So if we can find that form, then he should definitely be a starter for Chelsea. And he's a great player, and he's still improving. So I've got no doubts
I mean,
on him.
the reason we kind of bought him is to replace Hazard. So if we can get Hazard in the form of Christian Pulisic, no one's going to complain.
Yeah, definitely. But he is a very good player, and for some reason he's really, really good against Crystal Palace, and he needs to play like that against every team. But yeah, he's a
Yeah,
good
I think
sub as well to bring on. Like if he's not starting, we got his speed and direct play, so it's great to have him there as well.
I completely agree with you. I think he doesn't walk straight into the team, and that's the kind of issue that's going to put him down at the moment because he needs a few games. I feel like if he has game time, then he can improve, and I guess this season has helped him and helped him try into whatever performance he gave against Crystal, which in my opinion was a lot better than the usual performances that we've seen from him towards the end of the season. So it's nice to see him play, and if he does, get into this team and does become a regular starter, I know we only have positions to play with and about 11 or 12 players who can play in those positions. It is a headache for Thomas Tuchel week in, week out to make sure that they're all happy, that he's picking the right three combinations every time, and that it is right. Right now, I feel like when he came in, he was always the starter. And since all of these guys have now come in, now Lukaku has come in, that he will be the regular starter and the team will be built around him. Um,
Yeah,
how likely is it that he's going to break into that first team and become a regular starter, or do you think we'll just utilize him as a super sub for now, or Kai Havertz or Werner, who was probably the second option after that, their form drops?
yeah, he's not a starter at the moment, Chris. But I think Mount and Lukaku, they are nailed into the team. But that spot with Kai and Timo, I think it's up for grabs still. We hype Kai up a lot, and rightly so because of the Champions League final goal. But he's not really that super consistent for Chelsea yet as he could be. So maybe Christian could take that place from Kai. It wouldn't wouldn't surprise me really, but yeah, it's great to have a lot of options.
Yeah, I would add that. Sorry about that, about leaving, but that Kai normally take. I mean, last year and even in previous seasons at Leverkusen, it took at least till Christmas to properly get warmed up, or not warmed up, but to start at least getting goals and assists. So, it's important to have other players who are going to raise their game until he kind of get in the real groove of things. But yeah. I didn't notice much. He only came on for about 10 minutes today. Oh, sorry, yesterday. No.
Yeah, he didn't have much of a game time.
Uh,
I mean, it was rightly so. I mean, he played 120 minutes against Villarreal in the Super Cup, so it's good to see him rest. And I think for Arsenal, I think he will be starting in that position. But someone who's still struggling from last season, Timo Werner. There's so right now I don't know which actually, because there's a lot of Chelsea fans who just say, you know what, he has no point being in, and which I believe is a bit harsh. But there's the other side where, oh, he's good at distracting defenders, he's good at creating spaces and chances for his other teammates, which go unnoticed when you compare stats at the end of the season. I know, I'm sure the Chelsea analysts go into further detail, but as far as fans are concerned, Timo Werner should sit outside due to the form that he's having. With Lukaku coming in, Fred, he's probably not going to be playing that striker role. He's going to be pushed back into that left wing role, which we kind of saw him struggle under Frank Lampard before he was brought back into that striker role, and he kind of created chances and made space for Kai Havertz. how possible is it for him to come into the team, or is it like outright clear? As I know you said that Werner and Kai both can rotate, but Werner at left wing compared to striker is not the same thing, is it?
No, not really, but I think he still has a role to play. Now, when Lukaku is coming in, he can be a bit like Lautaro Martinez was in Inter. Lukaku has got great hold-up play, so when he holds it up, Timo can make these runs. But at the end of the day, Timo really needs to improve his finishing. He missed way too many chances, and it didn't really cost us. He got lucky with that last season, but it could cost us in the future. These misses. So yeah, we will see.
Not just that, in the Champions League final, that when that shot, he shot that shot, and then Ederson saved it. We were all holding our heads in our hands and said, this is the clearest chance we'll get from Man City, and we've just
Yeah.
bottled it up. So thankfully, Kai Havertz saved us, and then we didn't have a go at Werner at the end of the day. But Alex, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, he strikes me a lot as he's a confidence guy. He definitely needs, like, if you compare him to the very start of when he came to Chelsea and he scored his very first goal for Chelsea. I think it was against Tottenham in the League Cup, where he took, I think it was his first goal.
Yeah,
where he took the ball almost on the edge of the box with and just hammered it into the bottom right corner. I don't see him doing that, and not that I don't see him trying to do that. I can't imagine him kind of doing that right now. He doesn't seem to be in the best of confidence right now. So, yeah, against teams like Palace, I don't understand why he starts, to be honest, because I see his value in terms of getting in behind, making runs to draw out players, but that's all well and good when the other team presses high, like when you're playing against Man City. But if you're playing against a team that most of the time are just going to be in their own box or in their own half or in their own third, it's like, yeah, don't really see. I wouldn't play him. So, but then again, we didn't have too much choice, probably because coming back off the Super Cup, we couldn't start Kai Havertz. So, yeah, he definitely has a role to play in the team. He's so useful, like particularly off the ball. He's just magnificent. But yeah, on the ball, finishing, just general play, yeah, it's very disappointing from him. So, yeah. He just needs. I think Lukaku will be really good for his confidence. Like he's used to playing with another striker, so and even for Chelsea, like I don't think he's looked that great when he's played as a lone striker. But when he's playing not as a left winger, but kind of just off of the main guy, so like how Kai Havertz has played as a number 9 or like a false 9 sometimes, and Werner's played off of him. Yeah, I kind of see that it being similar dynamic, but different, of course, because Lukaku's a different kind of player. But yeah, that's one thing I'm really hoping for Lukaku, as well as Lukaku getting bags and bags of goals, is to make Werner play better and raise his confidence. Because that's, I think, what all he really needs, to be honest. Because off the ball, he's still really useful to the team. So yeah, fingers crossed.
Yeah, no, I agree with that point. I think we've seen it a couple of times last season against Liverpool. I remember that was one of the standout games when Mount scored that winning goal, because he would drag defenders out, create spaces in the middle, and we would try and attack using Mount and Kai Havertz and try and get a shot on target. So I think off the ball, agreed with Alex. He's good. I also agree with Fred saying that he hasn't cemented his place into that first team. That position is still open for either Pulisic, Kai, or Werner, I think, even. And it'll be interesting to see how the season goes on, and how Thomas Tuchel will utilize them. Maybe save Werner for games where he's actually needed, and maybe just rotate those 3 players in that position depending on what's required on the day, rather than the performance wise or in terms of form. Moving on, next topic, the FPL. That's something that I can tell Fred has already got a smile on his face. He's ready for that insight. But before we head into that, once again, this podcast is sponsored and brought to you by Kit Bag. If you want a Chelsea or any other football kit, as a matter of fact, you can get 10% off and free shipping in the UK using the link below, and then using the code BALLER, that spells out baller. And every day the code changes. If you want the latest code, they will be all on our social media pages. We usually post them on our stories on Instagram, and since the fleets feature has from Twitter, we will be posting tweets on them as well. FPL, almost 6-7 million players around the world. I last year just couldn't make the cup, so I surely do need your help on this, Fred. But
I'll try my best.
let's begin with a bit of like players to watch out for. Some players that you would say are key into into your FPL team, who would get you points week in, week out. I know the one thing I know, and I've kind of realized, is that a lot of defensive midfielders, Kante, Rice, they don't get you a lot of points because you don't essentially get
No.
points for tackles and all sorts of stuff. So it gets tricky when you choose those players. So a few players you would say that we should look out for or have on the team.
Yeah, in terms of attacking players, it's only about goals and assists. So yeah, just ignore the Kantes and players like that. The best players to own it's obviously Salah and Bruno. They are must-haves. It's too risky to not own them, and they are the players that score the most points, and they are the penalty takers for their teams. So it's very important to own both of them. Otherwise, yeah, you will struggle a lot. And another player I really like to own, and I think everyone should own, is Trent. Especially now when Van Dijk is back, and they got that defensive solidity back, plus his free kicks and his general crossing, and he's a good crosser. So yeah, I think he's a must-have as well.
Alex,
Yeah,
you,
I
you've
have
got
all
you've,
three.
you've done
I've been
really
listening to
well.
Fred very, very much. Yeah, I've done very well, but if I've done very well, Fred's done a madness because he's beaten me by
Which
2
is
points.
why
But
we're
yeah,
asking him for opinions and not you.
exactly. I'm going to
That
step aside. Let the
those
real
2 points are
expert.
the difference right now.
Exactly. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to me. I've nothing to say. Yeah, I do. I don't think I've ever put as much research into FPL as I have this season, mainly because of graduating, so not having much to really do around in the summers other than looking for jobs. So yeah, I'm happy to getting 100 points in the first game is satisfying, but I think like Fred has said just before the podcast, it's a marathon, not a sprint. So don't get too. I'll try not to. I'll try to not get too confident, but it's it's
It won't be like this every week.
No, definitely not. But it doesn't. It does help when Salah gets 17 and then Bruno gets a hat trick. So yeah, that helps very much. And creds to Heung-min Son for giving us a head start over City and helping my fantasy team and helping our fantasy teams. So yeah.
So I actually had Bruno and Salah both in my team, and I actually did captain Bruno Fernandes and put vice captain on Salah, but I didn't save that. And I came back to it yesterday, and I saw Kasper Schmeichel as my vice captain and Dominic Calvert-Lewin as my captain, which wasn't as bad, but I could have made at least 100 and 150 or 140 points, whereas I only got 82. So this I feel like I was going to be one of those players because I saw this tweet on Twitter, and I think Dan Hill tweeted this the other day, and he said this is a spreadsheet for all of you FPL players out there who want to get into the game. And if you see the preview of that spreadsheet, it's just a bunch of numbers, red, green, yellow, all those colors. And I remember, and I saw Dammy under it just go, these type of players should be banned from FPL because that's why we never win anything. Because there's players out there, and then you have players like casually add players on their team every week, score 100 points at an average, and top leagues every now and then. But Fred, players to watch out for. We've already got those, but players not to use. I guess going after and I know you've already kind of touched on not to use players who are defensive, who don't assist
Yeah,
or score, but maybe players from certain teams who might, the team might not be doing well, which is resulting to them getting negative points. And I know on the spreadsheet or on the script I've written Arsenal there, just because they've lost their opening game. But should we have Aubameyang in our FPL team for game week 2 against Chelsea, or Lukaku would be the better option?
I think you know the answer to that. I would definitely rather have Lukaku. Definitely, I don't think Aubameyang is that good of an option this season. He used to be a decent option, but he's never been on the same level as Salah and Bruno, and not even the same as De Bruyne, I would say. So yeah, I think you should avoid Aubameyang. And to be honest, with Lukaku, I would want to watch a few games with him first before I bring him in, because he's a very expensive player. He's almost the same price as, let's say, Bruno. But there's a really good opening around game week 7, I think it is, when the fixtures get really good for Chelsea and they get really tough for Man United. So that's something to have a look at.
That's great
Yeah,
insight.
that's
Yeah, you should have a look at that.
Yeah, I didn't realize the United fixtures got worse. Yeah, so yeah.
The only way I kind of look at my FPL team is, have they been performing a few games? No, kick them out of the team. Have they been
No.
Yes, that's how I've been basing. That's how I based it off last year, because I was never really a serious FPL player. I would play the first few weeks, and then the hype would die down, and you would just kind of leave it aside, and you just got the automatic team just rolling in every week now and then. But last season I was trying to make changes and all that. Now I've kind of come to realize how a team could have a few really tough fixtures, which would result their players to not be as good as we think they would be. So that's a great insight as well. The conspiracy around Chelsea players. I've seen it. Alex has said it a lot of times on the podcast.
My conspiracy.
This is specifically Alex. This is an Alex question. But a lot of Chelsea fans don't keep their players in there because they think they will not perform. Any thoughts on that? Maybe we should all keep Lukaku out of it. He's going to score 30 goals.
Or should we avoid Chelsea players until 7, or do you think, like particularly defenders, do you think put them in or not? Because it is not an easy run.
I would avoid them, actually. I would.
Thank you.
I've got Rudiger. And Zuma.
They're still good players. It could be good, but I would prefer other options instead of the Chelsea players at the moment. But in the future, it's definitely worth getting some.
Yeah, like right now, there just seems to be a couple of really hot topic. £4 million in the game defenders, particularly Tsimikas and Amarte, mainly Tsimikas because of Robertson's injury. And do you know, I think a lot of our watchers will probably have Tsimikas in already. They've seen enough drafts with him in. But do you think he'll be in there for like another couple of games, or more of a? Because I can't remember. I don't know if you know much about when Robertson is coming back, or if Tsimikas will be in the team for.
I kind of know.
Be playing for longer. Yeah, I can't remember.
I think Robertson will be back. It's around the international break, so maybe he could be back for the game against Chelsea. I think we play Liverpool in game week 3, so maybe Robertson is back for that. I'm not sure.
Players coming back from injury for Chelsea. Well, we
just forget injury. Even if he's injured, he'll start against Chelsea. Klopp wants that. Klopp hates us now after that Lampard incident. He wants to win every game. Sorry.
But we should enjoy having Tsimikas for now, because 4.0 for a Liverpool defender is amazing. Normally, with 4.0 defenders, you're just happy if they start, and they might come on for you if someone in your main 11 is injured. Another 4.0 who played and who you've probably heard of is Livramento. He started for Southampton. He's 4.0 as well. So if he can nail that spot, then he's worth having a look at.
I don't know if you guys saw his highlights. Someone made a highlight reel of his performance, and I don't know about you guys, but I was pretty, or Fred, you've seen it. I don't know about you, but I thought I was a little bit surprised. I didn't for his debut. He looked surprisingly not competent, but because he was, but he looked pretty confident despite being making his debut in a not an easy game
and filling up shoes Danny Ings' shoes. It's not going to be an easy task for him. So he needs to be top of his game
still.
Oh.
He can score some goals,
last week I mispronounced whose name was it? I mispronounced Armando. Yeah, I said I'm not going to call. I messed up the players, but no. Well, that's a great start. I was just going to say I just added Tsimikas in my team, so that's one transfer that I'm already down for the next game week as well. But just a bit of let's move on from.
That's not that good.
I don't like that look from Fred, so I'll hold off for that.
I'll wait for news. You should wait for some news.
Yeah,
I'll wait for that.
First, but yeah,
that's one last tip: is to wait and don't make your changes earlier in the week. Make them, because if Tsimikas gets injured now, because the way that we jinx things on this podcast, you never know. So yeah, that's just kind of hold off until
we will pray for you.
Days. Yeah, we'll pray.
Yep. Fingers crossed. But one player who's not going to be in the fantasy team, I know we kind of didn't talk about this at the start, but Tammy Abraham, he's confirmed to Roma. He's flown out. We've seen videos. We do have a buyback clause, which I think Marina needs. I feel like she gets a raise every day at this point. Every day she comes up with a new strategy to make sure Chelsea is winning at the end of the day. But 55 million, I think, pounds is the buyback clause.
Yeah,
and
different. To interrupt, sorry. Different. So I think Fabrizio Romano has kind of reported something conflicting to the one that I think I can't remember the other journalist that reported the figure that you said, the 50 million or something. But apparently it's a lot higher, and it's about double the fee that Roma paid for him now. So about 80 million euros.
Yeah, I think that's as well. 80.
Yeah. So it's. So we can do a Lukaku on him in 9 years' time when he's, once he's been banging them in. Yeah, why not? Yeah, and we've got the video format, right? We've got this. We just copy and paste the format, change the highlight reel, and done.
I feel like Chelsea's already got it ready. They've already got it on their hard drives. Yeah. Just plug it in and tweet those tweets and get ready with it. But it's good to see him go at Roma. I know we talked about this before on the podcast a few episodes back, and how Jose Mourinho's tactics are a bit more defensive based. He likes to sit back and just watch the match out. I guess play the match out when he scores that goal. But Harry Kane was one striker who flourished under him. I know he's had a record-breaking season where he scored goals and assists. Top scorer both for top assist and top scorer. So. Really good deal for Tammy Abraham, Fred, because I don't think he was going to get starts at Chelsea.
No, he wouldn't. He's still a very good player. His goal scoring record is really good. Both in the Championship when he was really, really young, and then in the Premier League as well. I think he scored 15 in that season with Lampard. I think it was 15, and he didn't play every game, so that's a good number to get. And I think he will do well in the Italian league. I think he could reach 20 goals. I don't see any reason why he can't. So he's a good finisher, and maybe not as good in the air as he should be with his length, but he's a good player.
Yeah, that's one thing I really hope by going to Italy and actually, I can't remember what I was going to say there. That's one part of his game that I hope he gets the opportunity to work on, and is his hold up play and being able to use his height, because he's tall. He's what, 6 foot and 5 or 4, I can't remember, but yeah, he's got height to himself. So but he just can't use it in the best way. So yeah, I think going to Italy, he should be able to train or work on himself to get the best out of his height. And to see him back with Mourinho, like there's a lot of Chelsea around Serie A this season. There's there's a lot of ex-Chelsea, in Serie A this year. They've got Sarri managing one team, Mourinho managing another. You have Giroud balling out for AC Milan, who he scored, I think, 2 goals yesterday in a friendly. Yeah, there's just a lot of Chelsea around. There's a lot of Chelsea in loads of leagues, to be fair. We seldom loan that many players, and sack that many managers. But
we're just a great team. We're just a great team.
Yeah.
At one point, Mourinho's going to run football, not just Chelsea.
Yeah.
But hopefully not the way Florentino Perez wanted to.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that pretty much covers up all the topics for this podcast. Arsenal is going to be next, so we're trying to get on an Arsenal fan for that one to cause some drama and have a bit of discussion. And if we do win, then you will see an Arsenal fan, hopefully, after the game as well, just to kind of have 45 minutes of incredible debates and to see them try and defend Willian and David Luiz. Thank you, Fred. It was an honor to have you on the podcast. Sorry?
Yeah. David Luiz isn't there anymore.
Left.
Oh, yeah.
He's gone.
Yeah, let's get him back to Chelsea.
But no, I mean, they did.
Yeah. We need a backup centre-back. Let's go, Marina.
He can play midfield too.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Kunde who?
Kunde who? Yeah. We have our own centre-back who can play CDM.
No, but I was just saying, watch them defend David Luiz as in the transfer that they made a few years ago, and I know the video with Ty and Jamie Carragher circling around the internet. It's just probably one of the funniest things that I've seen this season already, and I feel like when Arsenal lost, it was just an incredible scene to kind of go on Arsenal Fan TV and just see everyone cry about it, and see, you know what, the season's truly back now. The fans are back, the season's back, and Arsenal Fan TV are truly back right outside Emirates. But yeah, next week we're going to have them, so watch out for that episode. As always, thank you, Fred, for coming on the podcast. We'll be sure to have you on again during game week 7-8 when it gets interesting in the FPL, when we need more tips, and when Alex wants more points in the first team as well. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for tuning in, listening. If you are watching it on YouTube, make sure to leave a like, rating, subscribe, and comment below what you got this FPL game week and what you thought of our discussions and your opinions on Chelsea FC at the moment. Try and beat Alex and all of the CFCTALK members on the FPL league and win a Chelsea shirt. That doesn't sound too bad. Join using the link below. Just before we end the podcast, if you want a Chelsea or any other football kit, if you're a Man United fan listening to this podcast, Bruno Fernandes, we've discussed him. You can get 20% off your order and free shipping in the UK just using the link below, as well as the code BALLER. That spells out baller. And we will see you next time before Arsenal.